What's going on, everybody? And welcome on in to episode 325 of the Garage Beers podcast, brought to you proudly here. I got to get rid of him for a minute. I'll do the intro and then I'll see if I can find him come back. What are you doing over there, Chad? See if I can find him come back. But welcome on in. We've got a great show planned for you tonight here on episode 325. A little bit later in the show, obviously, Browns training camp is underway, and there's stuff to talk about that isn't just quarterbacks. Certainly, we will discuss the current sad state of the quarterback, but we've got some great battles going down in camp. We've got some position groups that look incredible in training camp, so we're going to get into all that. Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about college football, and by way of that, as we get ready, there's college football games that matter this month. So we want to talk about that a little bit. And by way of that, we'll start talking about, college football is talking about doing some crazy things. And, baseball's talking about some ways that they're going to change things up. And so we thought we'd go through and do one thing that every sport should do to make it better. So we'll see what we come up with. But before that, we've got an interview with a fantastic special guest. A guy that, every once in a while on this show, we love all of our special guests, don't get me wrong, but every once in a while on the show, we get like a pinch me kind of special guest where it's like, are we really doing this? And I know this guy's one of those guys for me. He's been on the show before. He was on episode 300, and now he's here with us on episode 325. We're going to get to Travis Hafner in a little bit. Travis Hafner is one of my, if I had to list you my favorite Cleveland Indians / Guardians of all time, if I had to list my top 5, Travis Hafner is on that list. So it's really cool that he's a friend of the show. And man, he gives, it's a great interview that we want you guys to see. So I don't know. All right. I saw a hand waving. I'm going to go over. Listen, before I do whatever he's trying to do something, before I go there, if you're watching on video, if you're listening to this, you're very confused. If you're watching on video, Chad is not in his chair. I'm watching it in the background. He wants to do something funny, I'm guessing. So before we do that, though, we are brought to you proudly here on the OBR streaming network. The Orange and Brown Report is the oldest, largest independent Browns coverage site in all of Cleveland. So get over to the OBR.com, hit subscribe. Again, as we're in training camp mode, and then we're going to be in preseason mode, and then we're going to be in regular season mode, and there's nowhere that's going to bring you coverage better than the OBR. So get over to the OBR.com, hit subscribe, and get over to our socials at The Garage Beers everywhere, and make sure you hit follow there so you can stay tuned with us as well. With you, as always, I'm your host, Michael Keefe. Find me online at Garage Beers Mike, joining me from a hotel down in Columbus. I shudder to think what's about to happen here. But from a hotel down in Columbus, it's my buddy Chad Meyer at Garage Beers. Chad, what's up, Chad?
How are you?
What are you doing over there?
I was trying to do the Dr. Evil thing. Remember when he rolled his chair over and he just kind of let it drift by and roll back? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
I was confused. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
And hear me out.
Hey, listen, they all don't land, okay? They all don't land.
Hear me out. Maybe next time if we're going to do the 5-minute countdown and then you're going to start like off screen, give me a heads up.
Well, listen, I text you. Did you not listen to my text? Did you read my text?
I didn't see it. No, I'm not sitting here on my phone.
That's you.
We're doing a podcast.
Huh?
I'm not sitting here on my phone while we're doing the podcast.
Whatever.
Yes, I am most of the time. Where'd you go?
Well, hold on. I'm right here.
Chad, can you put your phone down for 6 seconds so we can do the podcast, please?
Yeah. Well, you answered my text, you asshole.
Bullshit, idiot.
Yeah.
So what's up, buddy? How's Columbus? You didn't get swept away to Oz. I'm happy for that.
Dude, fortunately, man, it looked like Stormageddon down here. Like I was training today. The room we were training in was like wall-to-wall windows, and like it did not look good. I don't know if you saw the car that flipped over on the highway just from the wind. Like it wasn't even a tornado; it was just a wind.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help because I remember on the day I was going to drive down here, I saw the weather forecast. They said a ring of fire is going on in Ohio right now. That's going to cause a bunch of storms. A ring of fire, like that's one way to describe a weather event. So that made me feel
Johnny
real
Cash
good.
would be so proud. He'd be so proud.
Made me feel real good, real safe. But yeah, I'm here. Luckily, it hasn't prevented me from doing the things I wanted to do. I've eaten some great food. I have, including the best chicken I've ever had today. Listen, no free ads, but I'm giving this place a free ad because that's how good this chicken was. Little West Tavern. Next time you're down here, go to Little West Tavern, get that half-grilled chicken. Unbelievable, because that's all you're going to need. All you're going to need is a half-grilled chicken. Unbelievable. I'm not even exaggerating a little bit. It's the best chicken you'll ever have. Damn. So
all right,
that's it. Then I went to the crew game, my first ever pro soccer game tonight. Match.
Had a good time there. Yeah, this is, again, it's a nice role reversal since I've taken my new responsibilities in the day job. I'm not in hotels anymore. Now Chad's in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun being on this side of that.
Yeah.
It's fun being
Don't get used to it. It doesn't happen often, but.
No, well, listen, again, we've got a great show. Joe is, Joe still exists with us, but he goes through these periods throughout the year where it's like a month and a half of him just not being able to do the show. We're in one of those periods. And so no Joe tonight, but me and Chad coming at you. And again, we've got a hell of a show later in the show. Like I said, when we started, we're talking Browns, we're talking college football. We'll talk about kind of all of our favorite sports. We're going to kick things off with an awesome interview that I did with Travis Hafner, former Cleveland Indians slugger Travis Hafner, who gives really good insight on a couple things going on with the Cleveland Guardians right now and with Major League Baseball. So you want to stay tuned for that. But we can't do anything on this show before we do our garage beers of the week, where we just tell you what we're drinking. You get in the comments, tell us what you're drinking. But Chad, you got the visitor beer. What are you drinking down there in Columbus?
It's just a Miller Lite.
Boy.
Yeah, that's it. Well, my hotel has actual drafts on tap in the lobby, and it was either Miller Lite, Modelo, Bud Light, or Mick Ultra. So I went with the Miller Lite, and here we are. That's what we're drinking.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. You take what you're given.
That's right. And
you make the best of it.
You give nothing back.
When life hands you lemons, you drink a Miller Lite.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah. I'm leaving. I'm going out of town for a week. Not for business reasons, which is nice. But I making my way out to Seattle tomorrow. So I did the thing that we all do when we're leaving for a week, right? We've been trying to eat everything in the fridge and get rid of everything. And so I haven't been to the beer store. So I had a nice collection of Columbus beers, which is just very appropriate. This was not planned. It's very appropriate for tonight.
Let's go. Okay.
But just a couple classics. The first one that I'm going to polish off here is one of my favorites. This is the Bodie. The Columbus Bodie IPA from Columbus Brewing. Just a really good beer that you can buy everywhere, but I love it. I'll also tap into a Brewdog Hazy Jane at some point. But Those are our garage beers of the week. You let us know what you're drinking in the comments. But Chad, cheers to you, buddy. Cheers to everybody watching, everybody listening. Now let's get in to episode 325, and we are going to throw it off to an interview that I did. So it's just me and Travis Hafner, but I did this interview with Travis Hafner. You guys enjoy it, and we will be back right after the interview. Have a good time. Cheers. We'll see you in a bit. All right, we are thrilled to be joined once again by now friend of the show. He joined us for our 300th episode, a spectacular, and now he is back. Former Cleveland Indian, just a legendary player, went on just a killer run during his heyday with the Indians. Now he is joining us here in the garage. It's Travis Hafner. Travis, welcome back in.
Thanks for having me on. Great to be here.
Yeah, Travis, listen, last time we talked, before baseball season, we did a lot of nostalgia, went back through a lot of your time with the Cleveland Indians. But now I'm interested, Travis, to kind of get your take on the Guardians. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, the trade deadline. And then I think you can offer a little perspective on something that comes from a really unique place that a lot of other guys can't. So we're going to get to that towards the end too. But first of all, man, just how have you been? How's life? Everybody, kids keeping you busy? How's the summer going?
Yeah, life is good. My oldest is 16, heading into his junior year, so it was tons of travel baseball, like going into Georgia and Alabama, Florida, kind of all over the place. Got in a couple of vacations, so we kind of just got settled back in here to Tampa. And I'm like, I love the routine. I just want to be back in the routine and get back to school and kind of get back in that whole thing. But it was a good summer, very busy, but kind of a necessary evil, I guess, to be on the travel baseball circuit.
Yeah, so the kids in it. It made pretty big news. One of the legendary sluggers for the Cleveland Indians, Jim Thome, and his son that just made his way into professional baseball. So now you were kind of like in that next group of big time sluggers for the Indians. Are you looking at your son being like, hey, we can't let Thome, we can't let the Thome.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey, step it up.
Hey, Jim Thome's kid was a first rounder. That's the bar. Like, get to work, kid.
That's the bar. Oh gosh, if Jim Thome's the bar, a lot of people are going to be in trouble. That'd be tough.
No, his son Landon is a heck of a player.
Yeah.
I've seen him play, and it's cool to see the improvement that he made from his sophomore year to his senior year to make himself one of the best high school players in the country. And I'm sure it doesn't hurt having dad around to give advice. So super happy for him.
We think of you, and obviously things change as you get older and you get into your adult body and all that. But obviously, when we think of you, Travis, we think of the guy that just every time you were in the batter's box, we thought a ball was going about 430 feet, and you were just that feared slugger, especially in your prime. Is there anything your kid's doing now that makes you feel a little jealous?
Well, it's interesting. Like, I grew up in North Dakota, so, you're just playing on fields that are all grass. The coaching staff is like the local town postman who is just, he's out there because he loves baseball. And, now kids are, they're doing lessons and, their pitching coach played in the big leagues and, it's crazy the resources they have. They're playing all these games on like these amazing turf fields, spring training complexes, and they're just like used to that. Where I was like, man, like if I would have played on this as a high school senior, I would have been like, I'm good. Like I've got to play on the nicest field ever. Like I'm good.
I'm going to go just get a job and I'm good now.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, that's awesome. Congrats on pretty much wrapping all that up because I know that's exhausting from the parent side of things. I'm sure it's a whole new viewpoint for you guys, but I'm sure you guys had a good time with it. Let's talk about the Guardians for a minute because we're sitting here at this kind of pivotal point of the season where we've just gotten past the trade deadline, but just talk about the season to this point and kind of what they've done. They've called up the young guys. They're really basing their season on that. Their pitching staff has been unbelievably. I mean, they've been good most of the year, but just they're not missing games. They've had the same guys starting games all season long. Yeah. So just talk about your impression of how this season has gone to this point.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the starting rotation, and Cleveland has had a history of having like incredible health out of their starting pitchers for the most part, and like compared to the rest of the league. I remember even a couple of years when I was playing, like I think they had 4 or 5 starters make every start. It's kind of amazing. So like if you're that depth piece, like 6th or 7th guy in Columbus, it's like, man, I don't ever get to pitch. But it's a good thing, and I kind of love all these prospects they're bringing up. It's kind of exciting to, just see the energy that they play with. A lot of really good hitting prospects, which is exciting. And I thought at the deadline they kind of addressed a couple key spots. They upgraded their lineup and they brought in a really good starting pitcher. So it'll be kind of fun to see what happens the rest of the year. But I think they put themselves in a good spot, and I really like all these young players, and they're going to be fun to see like who develops and who turns into a really good player.
Travis, the game evolves a little bit, and we've seen an evolution with the Guardians, and you're part of this organization for a long time, and the Guardians for a long time, no matter what everybody would be screaming and yelling for, they would take their time. Guys would get seasoned in the minors, and I know you came up here as a major leaguer. You came to Cleveland as a major leaguer already, but Cleveland had that tendency of it. It would take a long time for guys to get up here, no matter what they were doing in the minors. They would kind of stick to their plan. And we've seen a little bit of a difference this year. We've seen, obviously, Bazana comes up, and he was just drafted a couple of years ago. DeLauder makes his long-awaited, real season debut.
Yep.
Now we've seen, it was incredible the other night with Angel Janao, 4 hits in his major league debut, but that kid's only 22 years old. So, as a guy that went through the minors, that got to the majors, all that stuff, is there like a fine line there? Because baseball is so different than I think football or basketball, where a guy gets drafted and he's 19, 20, 21 years old, and it's like, all right, go out and play with all these big boys. And in baseball, it's like you really got to get seasoned before you come up. So what's that like? What's that fine line? Can you call a guy up too early? What's the damage that can be done there?
Yeah, it's definitely like on an individual basis. You have to kind of determine what his current skill set and how that's going to play out in the big leagues. Like if I have a guy who, might be hitting 300, but if he's striking out like 38% of the time, it's like that's going to get really exposed in the big leagues. Or if they have a lot of chase, that's going to get exposed if they can't force a pitcher to throw strikes. At the same time, you might have a guy hitting 260, but all those other numbers are really well. And it's like, you know what, like maybe he's been a little unlucky, and we think that he's ready to go up and give good, consistent at bats. So the toughest thing in baseball is just like the consistency part of it. You'll see guys that can hit a ball 500 feet and, run like a deer and throw 95 across the infield in the minor leagues. And it's like tons of talent, but it's like the name of this game is consistency. Like, can you go there day in and day out and put up good at bats, make routine plays, execute pitches, throw strikes, things like that. So it's a little bit of an individual basis. And I know like when you're in it as a player, you're like, man, just call me up. I see all these guys around me getting called up, and you want to go up so bad, but you got to make the most of that time, continue to like work on your craft so that when you do get the call, you're ready to contribute. But also at the same time, like when you do get a call and you're up there, it's like a massive adjustment going from AAA to the big league. So you do see a lot of times like kids will get called up. They might start off really well and then struggle and need to get sent back down. And then it's like, okay, like I've seen the big leagues. I know what adjustments I need to make down here or what I need to work on. And then hopefully the next time I go back up, I'm ready to go there and stay there.
Well, I know that's the hope going on right now. Kyle Manzardo went down. I think the hope for him is that he kind of gets himself squared away in the minors and then comes back up. It worked for Brian Rocchio. Shoot, in your time, gosh, not a hitter, but in your time, it was Cliff Lee. Cliff Lee got sent to the minors and then came back and won like 24 games or whatever he won the next year and won the Cy Young Award.
Yep.
Like sometimes a guy just needs that. But I think that's been a really interesting thing watching these young kids is you got to learn real fast as a major leaguer that you could come up, you can get off to that hot start, but they're really good at adjusting to you in the major leagues, right?
Yeah. The scouting reports are incredible. So it's like, they know that each team will have like a specific idea. They watch video and they're like, this is how we're going to attack him. And then this is the place where he hits the ball. So we're going to put all of our fielders in the spots that he hits the ball. And they're like incredible fielders. So, even if you do barrel the ball up, it's like, they have you played pretty well. So it just makes it like that much harder. So you got to be able to make adjustments. I remember Eddie Murray telling me one time, like if baseball wasn't called baseball, it'd be called adjustments. Just because, like, can you, instead of going like 0 for 30, can you stop it at an 0 for 4 and kind of realize how teams are pitching you and make that adjustment? So typically when you get called up as a hitter, they're going to throw you fastballs away and see if you can use the whole field, and then they'll go breaking balls. And if you handle all that, they'll usually try to get you out with fastballs in. Maybe that's changed a little bit now, but they're not going to continue to throw you the pitches that you're successful on. They're going to mix it up and try to go after your weaknesses.
So you brought this up before. Kind of the last thing about this current team, they're in an up and down part of the year right now. I mean, they've made their trades. Those guys got to get adjusted. That's 2 new bats in the lineup. That's a new starter. So there's adjustments that have to get made within the team. But they're still just kind of sitting. They tend to do this, and it's part of the reason I love them. They just kind of lurk for a minute, and then they tend to find a time to strike. So do you feel like this team has that in them as well? We saw it last year. Obviously, the miraculous come from 15 and a half games back and win the division. But this team, to me, it feels like they have a run in them at some point this year. So should Guardians fans be optimistic?
Yeah, I mean, every year they seem to go on something in the second half and they find their identity. That's a big part of baseball is just as a team, what's their identity? How are we going to win games? And kind of when you get that formula down and kind of focus on those things, it can make a big difference. So, I do think their offense is going to be improved with some of these call-ups and the trade deadline. So that's exciting. And, for them, it's typically play really good defense, pitch the ball really well, and then find ways to manufacture runs, whether it's hit and run, running the bases really well, and things like that. So definitely a frustrating series with the Mets because you're thinking okay, we just had this great trade deadline. The Mets are coming in, and it's just that's baseball. You're thinking we're going to sweep the Mets, and, you get swept. And that's just baseball. Every team is a legit team, whether or not they've just traded people. And, sometimes you call up those new guys to take their spots, and they're hungry. They're in the big leagues, and they're I'm here to stay. I'm going to prove myself. And, you can't take anything for granted.
Yeah, exactly right. All right. So we talked about the trade deadline, and one big topic that's going on right now, because a lot of people here were concerned about how the Guardians would approach the trade deadline because of the uncertainty that looms in the upcoming offseason with the CBA and how they're going to approach that. And you've got the owners have already proposed salary cap, and the Players Association has come back. So this is what I was talking about at the beginning of our interview, Travis. I think you're in a unique spot because you played so much of your career here in Cleveland, which is a small to mid-market team that, as far as spending power is concerned, just isn't going to stack up with some of the other places. Do not take that as me saying I don't want to give anybody that has X amount of money just a break, like billions of dollars, you get a break because you're in Cleveland. But the fact is, when you look at numbers, just TV revenue and stuff, teams like the Dodgers, teams like the Yankees are just on a different level. And so here we go into this, what feels like a really pivotal point offseason. And so I'm interested to hear your take on this because I'll tell you, as a fan here in Cleveland, one of the hard things is you feel like you can't get connected with the players because you've got the owner coming out like he did when Francisco Lindor was here and said, well, just enjoy him while he's here. And it was just you can't say that to your fans, but he did. And you've been able to keep Jose Ramirez because Jose Ramirez doesn't want to leave. And that's the bottom line on that. His contract is outrageous for who he is.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on this? This feels like the closest we're probably getting to that pivotal moment of, is baseball going to do the salary cap thing, the salary floor thing? That has to go with it. But what are your thoughts on that whole situation as a former player?
Yeah, it's interesting. The baseball union has always been the strongest union. And one of the things that union is built on is that they'll never have a salary cap. And they've always been very steadfast in that. I don't know if that will ever change, but we'll see. It can definitely be frustrating, when free agency rolls around and you just kind of know ahead of time that the small market teams just are not going to be involved at a very high level with those high free agents. Now, at the same time, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to win anything either. How many of the teams with the smaller payrolls in the bottom half are some of the best teams in baseball, and some of the teams with a top 5 payroll are really struggling, so I don't know where it ultimately ends up. I know obviously the owners want a salary cap. I don't know if there's something in the middle that works, but I would be very shocked if there was a salary cap. And I think if those were hills that each side was going to die on, like I would probably think there would be a work stoppage.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it feels like that might be a thing, and that's a bummer. But it's just it's an interesting thing because and things have ballooned even from your time playing. Things have ballooned into just these massive contracts, and the disparities have gone to such an extreme that you just, as a fan, it makes you wonder, like, at what point do we look at this and say something? Maybe it's not a full salary cap, Travis, but something to where, like, I don't even care if we don't go sign new free agents. Can we just keep our own guys? Like, can we find a way to keep our guys? And I don't, it feels like they got to do something there because it's hard to be a fan in that.
I think you're seeing too, like what the Dodgers are doing and just like how good they are at what they do. Plus they have like amazing resources. And then you see like the deferred contracts and things like that. And just all the money that they're able to stick into like player development. And it seems like they have like a ton of resources plus people do deferred contracts. So it doesn't count against the salary cap. And, I would think maybe something like that gets addressed just to kind of like even that playing field. But, sometimes at the same time, like, if you were to sign out in California, like there's that tax rate, which is much higher than, say like Texas or Florida. So, that seems like a little uneven as well. What all gets addressed, like, I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I can almost guarantee you that it'll go down to like the final minutes of the deadline for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, it's been awesome catching up with you. Hopefully that work stoppage doesn't happen. But in the meantime, let's get off of that doom and gloom, and hopefully the Cleveland Guardians here can make some big stuff happen on the back end of this season and bring playoff baseball. You were a part of it here, and I tell people all the time, if you don't pay close enough attention, there's another level in that building. There's another level in Progressive Field of noise that happens when playoff season comes around, and you would know that as a guy who had a really humongous moment in that building. Can you still hear the roar after you hit that game-winning hit against the New York Yankees in 2007?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like you can just feel the stadium shaking. So that was obviously like an incredible moment, very special. Like to beat New York at home there, and then I was also at like the 2016 World Series when Rajai Davis hit that home run, and I was like, man, this stadium is gonna just like crumble. But the moment was so spectacular that like all you could do was yell, and you couldn't stop it no matter what. So yeah, playoff baseball in Cleveland is incredible. It's so fun, and I hope we get to see it again. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, well, I hope so too, Travis. We hope that we get to catch up with you again down the line. I know my co-hosts are very sad that they're not here for this, but you know what? They're going to have to deal with it. This is great for me, at least. Travis, it's been a blast catching up with you. Again, congrats on getting through travel baseball. Good luck getting kids back into school and stuff down there, and enjoy this back half of the baseball season, and hopefully we can catch up with you soon down the road.
Yeah, awesome, Mike. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Travis. All right, that was Travis Hafner. Oh, there he is again, rolling in like Chris Collinsworth. Travis Hafner, Cleveland baseball legend. And I got to tell you, just for a minute, it's so loud, Chad. You're like, is there a wind tunnel? Oh, that's better.
Can't hear you.
Nope. All right, well, maybe go out and come back in. I'll tell a story. Let me tell a story about Travis Hafner for a minute, because I want to talk about what a good guy this guy is. We were lucky enough. I want to give a shout out to Curtis Danberg. Curtis has just been cool to us. The Guardians have been cool to us when we have asked for help, which we don't do a lot, but when we've asked for help for guests, he's always been willing to help. Curtis Danberg helps us out. He connects us with Travis Hafner for episode 300. We have a great conversation with Travis. And then he just says, email me anytime. I'll come on with you anytime. And here's the story about Travis Hafner, because again, I try not to like fan out too much about things, but I also think sometimes people that do what we do try to act like they're not fans. And that's what we are at our core. Like we just have a podcast. We're not anything. We're just guys. And I'm a fan of these teams. And Travis Hafner is one of those guys. Like, I think we all had our guys that we were big fans of when we were like little, right? Joe Carter for me, Julio Franco, Felix Fermin, those guys. And then you had those like high school years. Well, the high school years for me were like Grady Sizemore and Travis Hafner and like that crew. And into college, those were my guys. And so we get done with that interview and I hit end recording. And I think I'm just going to say, thanks, Travis. He's going to be like, cool, see you later. And for the next about 15 minutes, Travis Hafner proceeds to ask me, so the podcast seems to be going great. And what episode is this again? Man, congratulations. And how are your kids doing? How's life up there in Cleveland? Like all the way to the point where it's like, yeah, next time I'm up there, let's grab a beer. Like stay in touch anytime. I'm happy to come on with you guys anytime you want to. And I'm like, this guy, maybe it's the North Dakota in him, but for a guy that was a guy that every time he came up to the plate, me as a fan of the Cleveland Indians at the time was just edge of my seat thinking he was going to do something awesome, which he usually did. For him to be that cool and just a friend, just a good dude, a good guy, Travis Hafner, proud to say spent the majority of his career here in Cleveland. And man, what a good time. What a good time that was talking. And listen, again, Chad, good insight out of Travis Hafner on a lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff when it comes to these young guys and how they have to readjust to players adjusting to them. And the collective bargaining, it made me a little sad because Travis seems like he is feeling like we're going to a work stoppage and the Players Association probably will never do a salary cap, which is a fucking atrocious bit of news if you're a Cleveland fan. But like just the overall conversation with Travis Hafner, that was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry you guys weren't there, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, next time I'm going to make sure I'm there, for fuck's sake. And listen, I mean, so there's so many times. One of the things that blows my mind on Twitter these days is when people challenge the people who actually played the game, like when former players like give their insights to what's going on in baseball right now, and then people challenge it. Like, how are you not going to trust the opinions of someone who actually went through it all? And Travis gave great insight as to the development of young guys, as to what it's like coming up from the minors and adjusting to big league life. And I mean, he's a former player. Obviously, he's going to take the player's side. Obviously, he's and this isn't any mystery. I mean, I think any rational baseball fan knows that the players aren't going to accept a salary cap, at least right off the bat anyway. So I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by that answer, but certainly the insight to how everything gets to how what it's like for young guys coming up is certainly something for people to pay attention to. Absolutely.
Well, and I think, Travis, the reason I thought he was going to be really good and insightful is he's one of those guys that, man, barring his injuries that started to happen that really derailed things for him, he's one of those guys that was probably going to get a massive contract somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the Guardians, or the Indians, after his big years towards 2006, 2007, that time, he signed a 4-year contract extension for $57 million after he was a guy that hits like 40 bombs and like 100 and some RBIs and just was a masher. That was his contract extension. So I think his take on it is really interesting in that he's one of those guys that, A, could have probably gone and signed a much bigger contract somewhere else. But also B, I think it also demonstrates how far things have come and how far off the rails this shit has gone. Like Travis Hafner signed a 4-year, $57 million contract extension to stay here in Cleveland. And that was in 2008, 2009, something like that. So he's already been just a massive masher in this league. And that's what they were able to get him to stay for. Imagine what that contract, 4 years would have been $200 million.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, but that, unfortunately for him, I mean, and this goes for every generation of athlete, that's kind of was the market price for a slugger back then, right? Like, look how good Jake Westbrook was for that 1 or 2 years for the Indians, and I think he signed like a 4-year, $40 million, something like that as well. So that's just where the money was, where the market was, where the baseball economy was at that time. So yeah, I'm sure he's looking at this like, oh man, if I only stayed healthy for a few more years, I could have got this contract. So yeah, I mean, he's a player. He's a former player that's on the player's side. I'm not shocked that he's seeing a work stoppage coming to play.
And I was interested to hear his reaction because I was interested to hear that part because as a former player, I feel like you probably feel a little bit of a responsibility until something changes to not speak out against your fellow players and
Sure.
not against them as if it's like a battle, but like don't say anything that would be detrimental. Again,
right.
This system, I get, and I know Travis said it. No disrespect to Travis because I love him. I love having him on. But I know he talked about, well, look at there's teams that don't have big payrolls that are playing really good right now, and teams that have big payrolls that are playing really bad. Regular season parity is going to happen, and now you're letting in over half the teams in the league, or half the teams in the league. I don't remember. It's either over or exactly half the teams in the league get into the playoffs. So regular season parity is just going to happen.
Right.
It's going to. But in the end, do we really think it's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays and the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Series? Because I don't. I don't think that at all.
I mean, obviously, initially, you're not going to think that, but it could be.
Even if it was, that would be an exception and not the rule.
Sure.
There's exceptions. Exceptions don't mean, hey, let's not take action.
Right.
Because the fact of the matter is, the Dodgers have won the World Series a bunch of times, and before the Dodgers, it was all the other big markets. It was the Red Sox. It was the Yankees. It was the Giants a bunch of times. It was the Cubs. It's big market after big market after big market. It's the Astros. Big market after big market after big market. That is who wins World Series, and small market teams don't win World Series unless they're willing to fork over money to do it.
Right.
Or unless they get extremely lucky and they lightning in a bottle.
Stars align.
That's it. And that sucks. That sucks for baseball. Having said all that, I conducted that interview with Travis. Since then, it's not been great for Guardians.
Nope.
It's not been great. Because the Guardians, they get out of that trade deadline and they fall flat on their face against a really bad Mets team, but a Mets team that shows you that home runs, if you get hot and can hit home runs, you win games. The Mets team hit, how many home runs they hit in that 3-game series?
11. Like it felt like 7,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just home run after home run after home run. And then the Guardians go to Chicago and you feel like, all right, they got a chance and they get a game and they have a chance to take the series, and then they don't take the series. And they lose 2 out of 3 to Chicago. And that's, you had a chance to get out of Chicago back 2 in the division. Instead, you're back 4 when you leave Chicago. And then tonight, the Guardians go to Detroit, and it's a huge series because, again, this AL Central is just everybody but the Royals is right there. And you get walloped by Detroit tonight. And here's what I've been thinking about a lot lately, Jeff.
Who, by the way, is playing great baseball since that Google trade.
Yeah,
I think the Dodgers are 1-7 since that trade, and the Tigers are like 6-3.
I do not anticipate that trend to continue. However, the Tigers did do this. Remember when they traded John Flaherty?
Yeah.
They were selling, and they traded John Flaherty, and then they went on a run.
Right.
They did it again. Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal.
Right.
But it got me thinking about this. And a lot of people want to talk about the pitching and the bullpen. I don't really want to talk about the pitching and the bullpen because the vast majority, in my head, I would love to say the bullpen is just a lockdown bullpen, but I think we've been so spoiled with bullpen since 2016, 2015, that we have an irrational view of what a bullpen is actually going to look like. I think this is much more of like our bullpen this year looks a lot like what a typical pretty good bullpen looks like, but that means they're going to give up some leads and all that. I know people want to talk about the starting pitchers, and I don't, because these poor guys, man, you give up 3 runs and it's hopeless. You give up 3 runs and it's hopeless. Like how many games have these guys pitched? How many times does Gavin Williams have to throw 7 shutout innings and you lose a game because the bullpen gave up 2 runs? You should still win that game. This offense, and I love the addition of Joe Adell. I love the addition of Nathaniel Lowe. I think this offense will continue to get better. I love Chase DeLauter's swing looks really good lately. Jose Ramirez has been swinging the bat okay lately, but it had me thinking in past years, like last year, it was not a good Guardians offense by any stretch of the imagination. But remember how good they were with like runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Sure.
They were terrible at all other times, but when they got runners in scoring position at 2 outs, they were one of the best teams in baseball at scoring runs. It got me thinking, you have to be really good at something, and they're good. This offense is good at nothing right now. They're good at nothing.
Listen, yeah, for the most part, I think you're right about the pitching for the majority of the year, but since the trade deadline, I think it's all gone to shit so far. The starting pitching hasn't been that great. I wish Rhys Hoskins would just go away. Like if I never have to see him play another inning of first base, making these weird lobby throws to home plate, like, or whatever the hell he's doing when he's trying to get runners out. I mean, and the defensive lapse, I forget who it was, but it was him and somebody else that in that Chicago series was the tipping point for me. I mean, he's not doing anything with his bat, and he's making errors in the field that's costing runs. Like, get that guy out of my face. And then the starting pitching, Tanner didn't have a great night tonight. Gavin, I mean, he's still striking out 6 or 7 guys.
He's been great. He's been great.
But since the trade deadline, he's
been great.
Since the trade deadline, these last couple starts, he's not been good.
Yes, he had. We have the start. He had the start. He went 7 shutout innings and they lost.
That you're talking about the Tampa game. That was before the.
No, it was after the trade deadline. Gavin was great.
And then you're looking at Foster Griffin did not have a good, but I think he'll come around. He did not have a good first outing. Well, none of it is good right now. None of it is good right now.
I guess I don't understand. Like, and this is not me knocking you, Chad, but I just desperately tried to get you to talk about the offense, and everything just comes back to the pitching. This is in order for this team to win games, the pitching staff has to throw shutouts every night right now. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Because this offense right now, they will score runs in 1 fucking inning of a game. And I'm sorry to get pissed about it, but this is how it happens. They will come out and they will score 3 runs in 1 inning. It'll be like the second inning and they'll be up 3-0. And you'll be like, sweet. And then they just shut it off the rest of the game.
Sure.
They don't even come close to scoring another run the rest of the game.
Sure.
I don't want to focus on the pitching. Yes, no. Has it been amazing? No. But should this pitching staff be winning a lot more games than they're winning? Yes. Yes, they should. This offense is putrid. It's terrible. And I like the additions, and I'm hopeful. I like Bazzana. But for some reason, they can't put it together to have a competent offense. And to me, like in every other sport, we're going to start looking for people to start blaming for this. And I don't know why in baseball we don't do it. The Cleveland Guardians coaching staff is incompetent when it comes to hitters.
Sure.
And they have been for like 1,000 years.
Sure.
And it's annoying because I'm sitting here and I have to listen to them. I have to listen. And it's not just you, Chad. I have to listen to people be like, but you gave the bullpen a 2-1 lead and the bullpen blew it. Why was it not 6-1? Why was it not 5-1? Why are you so embarrassingly bad that it's got us trying to blame the pitchers?
Listen, I think you took me out of. You kind of put words in my mouth a little bit. I said it's all bad, Mike. I said it's all bad.
I know, but you talked outside of Rhys Hoskins. You talked only about pitchers, and that's every time I hear people talk. It's not. I'm not trying to pick a fight with you, Chad. I know what you're saying, but this is just. It's like this thing. I think maybe because we're spoiled by the pitchers. We're spoiled by starting rotations that have just been the best in baseball for like 15 straight years. And we're spoiled by the best bullpens in baseball for like 15 straight years. That when you have like kind of a normal rotation and it's still a good rotation and a good bullpen, you go, well, if the bullpen would have just done their job, you would have won 2-1. Suck it. Mike, I do not want to hear that.
Mike, do you know why? Mike,
I know you didn't say that, but I keep hearing it over and over again.
Mike, do you know why? Do you know why everybody wants to blame the pitching? Everybody's going to blame the pitching. is because you heard Travis in his interview. He talked so much about identity. That's what this organization has built this identity around. All the pressure is on the pitchers, and they just have to hope that the hitting is going to come around. And it doesn't. It typically doesn't. They either have to manufacture runs, play small ball. They refuse to coach. They refuse to coach hitting. They refuse to. I don't know. Can you coach power? No, you really can't. But they refuse to be able to put the ball over the wall. And that's what you need in baseball. So that's what they built this organization has built this identity around. So all the pressure is on the pitchers, and that's why I think a big reason people want to blame the pitching. But this offense.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I concede that point to you. 100%.
Yeah, the offense is what it is. I don't like it. I'm not saying it's great. I wish they would hit the fucking ball more, but they don't. But they don't.
Brother.
This is how they have to win games.
Chad, they come out and score like 2 early runs in the first or second inning, and I just bury myself because I know that's all they're going to do is score those 2 runs.
Right.
That's it. It is embarrassing. And what they are doing, especially since the deadline, but it's been all season, what they are doing with runners in scoring position. Chad, they had a time tonight in tonight's game against the Tigers, which we're recording this because I'm leaving for Seattle. This is Tuesday. This is August 11th. This is game 1 in this Tiger series. First inning. Immediately, they get like runners at first and second, no outs. And then they just go strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. What? Like how many times? I think it was the Mets series where they had bases loaded less than 2 outs like 8 times in that series. And I know that's an exaggeration, but it felt like it. And they didn't score. They just never scored.
They're able to get on base, but that timely hitting just isn't there.
It's brutal. It's brutal. And that leads me back to when you have to build the way the Guardians have to build. Now, again, this lineup should be pretty good compared to other ones that we've seen with the Guardians over the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
When you have to build this way, they have to be good at something. And I swear to God, the only other thing I'm going to say about this, and then we can go to our next topics. When they were in, was it the Chicago series when they went to extras?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
I'm talking Rocchio just short up that grounder in the 9th.
No, was it the Chicago series or was it might have been the Mets series? I don't remember which one it was. But boom, you're down 1. I think it was the Mets series because we were at home. You're down 1 because the Mets scored 1 run.
Oh yeah, it was the Mets series.
Angel Martinez comes up to the plate and fucking bunts. What are we doing? Well, and then you have Stephen Vogt, and I like Stephen Vogt. He's a 2-time Major League Baseball Coach of the Year, and I think he's that for a reason. I think he does a lot of really smart things. But when he comes out, we expect really dumb shit to come out of the mouths of a Cleveland Browns head coach.
Yeah.
But this year's been a little bit jarring because we've had really stupid shit come out of the mouths of now a Cavaliers coach. Kenny Atkinson said some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Analytically, we're up 3-1 in this series. Shut up, you stupid idiot. And I am a Kenny Atkinson fan. I'm a fan of his. I think there's room to grow, but I'm a fan. But what a dumb thing to say. And now Stephen Vogt. Well, we're just trying to tie up the game. Shut the fuck up. Why are you not trying to? I'm swearing a lot, and I'm sorry that I'm swearing a lot, but like, why are we not trying to win the game? You only I feel like in extra innings, the way it goes now in Major League Baseball, if you only give up 1 in the top of the inning, you feel like you can win that game in the bottom of the inning.
Yeah,
you got to get that run in from second, but let's go win that game. It's like a leadoff double. You're feeling great,
right? And
you come out and bunt. And we want to extend the game. He said, "Why do you want to extend the game?"
Sounds to me.
Fans don't want to stay there any longer. They want to go home.
You know what that sounds to me? That sounds to me like a manager that knows he has a lineup that just isn't cutting it.
But I would rather have you go down striking out.
Sure.
3 guys, 3 straight strikeouts, 9 pitches, immaculate inning, and I am happier than you bunting Angel Martinez.
Right.
Just conceding. We're going to get an out here, and then we're going to hopefully get a sac fly. That'll be 2 outs. Then it'll be bases empty, even though we basically had a leadoff double it'll be 2 outs, bases empty, but the game will be tied and we're extending the game. And then the other team gets to start with a leadoff double. Idiotic. They're driving me nuts. I think they have a run in them. I do think there's going to be a moment. I don't think there's going to be this magical, like, oh, the sun is going to shine its happy ass on this offense. But I do think there's going to be a moment where this offense gels a little bit.
Okay.
I like what I've seen out of Joe Adell. I like what I've seen out of Nathaniel Lowe. I'm with you. Reese Hoskins can go. I don't know why Stephen Vogt just feels like you always have to have platoons in places. Just play Reese Hoskins or play Lowe against lefties. It's the same thing with Petey Halpin. I love Petey Halpin. I think he's a very nice guy. He's easy to cheer for. He needs to be the defensive replacement at the end of a game. I'm so tired of him being in like a starting lineup. There's no reason for it. It should be Quan and Martinez and DeLauder and Adele. Those are your 4 guys that start baseball games for you.
Lowe's been great. Lowe's been absolutely great with his bat.
I would like to see our manager stop overthinking baseball.
Right.
Play your best players. I think there's a run in them still. My concern is that you're now we're now at a point where every single baseball game, the Cleveland Guardians, it is August 11th today. They're in a big time divisional matchup. Every single game you play the rest of the year is a big game.
Yes, for sure.
Stop overthinking this. Play your best players. I don't give a shit what Lowe is hitting against lefties because he's one of a few guys that can just change a game automatically with one swing of the bat. He's got to be in the lineup. Stop overthinking this and let's go out and play baseball.
Yeah, there you go.
And I still think they have a run in them. I hope it just doesn't get. I hope it's not so mental at this point that they're screwed before they even try to start.
Only one way to find out, and it's the ebbs and flows of a baseball season.
That's right. The longest of all the seasons.
Yeah.
Anyways, how about a shout out to Travis Hafner one more time? Awesome. Pronk, the greatest. All right, Chad, why don't we do our asshole of the week before we get into our next few topics? And so I'll start here. When you get into like your online video rabbit holes, one of the rabbit holes that my algorithm continuously takes me down is those people that are like First Amendment auditor people. They like go stand on a street corner with cameras.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like I think it's so weird how worked up people get about it. Like, I don't give a shit. You can video camera. You can tape me and my kids walking down the sidewalk whenever you want. I don't care. I'm in public. You're in public. If I don't want you to videotape me, I don't have to leave my house. So
right.
Great. So normally I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I was getting like angry because they kept bringing me to these people that do that. But there's people that do it that seem like they're just out there to like, kind of like be like calm and peaceful and like whatever. And then there's people that do it that are looking to start fights.
For sure.
Those ones drive me crazy. And so the ones that really had me worked up are the ones where like the police get called always. And a lot of times the police officers aren't really sure what they're doing. And so a lot of times like the people will be like, well, this is the thing. And then they make a couple calls and then they go on their merry way and everything's fine. But there's one thing that gets said and it makes me, it's like when you watch, like, if you ever watch like Impractical Jokers and there's something so uncomfortable that you have to change the channel.
Yeah.
There's one thing that gets said where it makes me go, fuck this guy. And then I have to swipe off to the next video. Sometimes
I don't want to see the result.
Like the police officer will come up and be like, well, what are you doing? And the person will be like, you don't get to ask me that. I pay your salary. Swipe. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just because you pay taxes doesn't mean you're just like the boss of the cops. Drives me nuts. It is such anytime. I don't care whether it's police or fire or EMS or any public service worker. Just because you pay taxes doesn't mean you're just their boss. You sound like a total imbecile, and it drives me crazy. And so my asshole of the week are the people that make me like horrifically uncomfortable to the point I have to swipe on those videos.
Okay.
And those people that think, oh, I pay my taxes, so I'm the police's boss. No.
All right.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Chad.
Okay. I'm going with the City of Columbus Parking Division. Yeah, listen. So I went down and I got had that incredible meal I just told you about at the beginning of the show. And I park on the street. I find a perfect spot right in front of the restaurant. And, we got to do one of those pay to park things. If you go to the sign, you scan the barcode or the QR code and you pay. Everything goes smoothly. I get my receipt and I'm like, it says your parking session has started. Great. I'm going to go eat. I have a delicious meal. I come back out and then I start to drive away over to Scott's Miracle Grow Field. Shout out, Columbus Crew. And all of a sudden I just see something in my window. The assholes gave me a parking ticket. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I have my receipt here. Like, I have my receipt on the phone. You received this. Like, I couldn't have been in there for more than, 25, 30 minutes eating my delicious meal. And I come out and I have this $50 parking ticket on my car for one reason. Because someone was there a mix-up, some sort of mix-up? No, you're an asshole, City of Columbus Parking Division. And I will not be paying this $50 parking ticket.
Hell no.
Because I paid my $2 to park there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, do not pay that. Call them and be like, I got my receipt, bitch.
Yeah, I got papers.
And you should have the time on your receipt versus the time you got written the ticket. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's asshole. I also, like, why do I have to park? Why do I have to pay to park everywhere? I have to pay to park fucking everywhere at this point.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay to park everywhere. Just there's a lot of stuff we got to pay for. Can I just park my car for like 20 minutes? And
please.
Like even the old days with the turnstile parking meters.
Yeah.
If you were only going to be somewhere for 10 minutes, you could turn the meter and you'd get 15 free minutes.
Right.
You don't get that anymore.
Nope, sure don't.
No. Everybody's got to make their dollar.
Some things were better in the olden days.
Everybody's got to make their dollar.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I see two kids I don't recognize on my lawn.
Get off my lawn. All right, let's get into other topics, Chad. And there's a couple I want to talk about. One, Browns training camp. We got to start with one topic, and let's just hit on it real quick. But then there's other things that I think are fascinating. So let's hit on this. Reports out of training camp from both our colleagues at the OBR and everybody else. In my head, Chad, and I know you're on Twitter and you're reading this stuff and you see what's going on, and I know you're gonna go, I don't care about the Browns, but just we gotta come on, stop it.
Hey, listen, I said I don't, but I also said that doesn't mean I can't talk about them objectively.
Everybody is diving really deep into the quarterback conversation, but the reality is very clear to me. It's disastrous.
Well, of course.
Shedeur, listen, my hope going into this camp, Chad, and I think yours was the same, and I think Joe's was the same, and I think everybody's is the same almost. I think a lot of our hope was that Shedeur Sanders was going to kind of click with Todd Monken and his offensive coaching staff. His system was going to click with Shedeur Sanders, and all of a sudden, this kid that I agree with Shedeur Sanders. They've interviewed him a couple times. He's like, yeah, I made some big time plays last year. I know I have it in me. This kid that showed like he has some big time playmaking ability in him. I thought maybe it was going to click, and it's clearly not clicking. It's clearly not clicking. Deshaun Watson, things that have happened over the last week, on the day where Shedeur was scheduled to get his run with the ones, they said, never mind. We're going to give Deshaun all the run with the ones. And Deshaun, by all intents and purposes, hasn't looked great in camp. Now, if you watch the stat tracker, you're going to think that he's looked great, but he really hasn't. And you've got all this talk that like Dylan Gabriel's looked the best out of all three of them, which for me would be fine. I'd be like, I'm over here like just then start him, start Dylan Gabriel. I do not have. I hate Deshaun Watson. I want him to go back to Italy and post Instagram photos in his capri pants and stay the hell away from my team. Shedeur Sanders is a 5th round pick, and he looks like a 5th round pick, so I have no attachment to this guy. If it's Dylan Gabriel that looks the best, good, start him. But like, it just looks disastrous, Chad. It looks disastrous.
The only thing you need to know when it comes to the Browns quarterback situation, you only need to look at one thing to really find out where the Browns quarterback situation is, and that's their unofficial depth chart, where they listed as QB1 as Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. They're not even sure. So yeah, I don't.
And it's not because they both look great, and it's like, oh, who do we start? No.
This is Todd Monken going, oh, fuck, I don't know.
Yes.
Let's just put them both.
Behind closed doors, Todd Monken has to be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with this?
He can't pretend to tank, but like I kind of hope they do, just to get our quarterback, because this team's going nowhere without a quarterback. So my worst nightmare is a quarterback just being fine and we go like 7 and 8, 10 and like do nothing. That's my worst nightmare. But it's probably the ceiling for this team with the way these quarterbacks are playing right now. Hopefully they prove me wrong, but yeah, it's where we're at as a team.
You want to know what my worst nightmare is?
Huh?
It's 2018 all over again, because I think that's where we're going. Again, I've made it very clear, Chad. I think you agree with this. I hate being here in August and being like Arch Manning or Dante Moore or whoever the fuck else, acting like, again, it's the same thing we were doing with Cade Klubnik. Oh, Cade Klubnik's Garrett Nussmeier last year. Dante Moore, and Dante Moore was like, I'm going back to school. Like we did it last year, and it turns out a guy that nobody was talking about is the first overall pick. We do this thing where it's like, well, oh, look at these quarterbacks coming out next year. Nobody knows jack shit about them.
Nope.
My worst fear, Chad, because it's not your worst fear, because if they go 7 and 10, Deshaun's contract can come off the books finally. You can continue to build this team in a really good way, and maybe you can find the next Sam Darnold type of guy. I'm fine with that. My fear is that they have a horrific, because every year I don't give a shit. September rolls around and I just want to see as many wins as I can see. I don't care about what that means for the draft. I want to see wins. I'm so tired of this bullshit that my biggest fear is that we're going to have a 3-win season. We're going to get to the draft. We're going to have a top 3 pick. And it's going to be 2018 all over again, where there isn't just that guy. You know what I mean? Like, things were easy for the Raiders this year. It was Mendoza. Things were easy for the Bengals when it was Joe Burrow. The Browns, every time they've been one of the worst teams in the league, it hasn't been that. It's been, oh, do you take Baker or Josh Rosen? And everybody laughs at that now, but Josh Rosen was like the polished guy coming out. Do you take Sam Darnold? Do you take Josh Allen? Josh Allen was the biggest risk coming out. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that again.
I do. I would rather do that. I would rather do that than still be in purgatory at 7 and 10 and have the 15th pick in the draft, the 12th pick in the draft. I would rather keep throwing darts at the board at which hopefully this quarterback class has a better year than last year's highly touted quarterback class. I would rather keep throwing darts at the board until I find my quarterback.
I don't.
Yes. Might there not be a guy? Maybe, but there also might be the guy. We got to wait to see how this season plays out. And if that's the case, then yes, I want to go get that guy. But my worst nightmare, like I said, is being mediocre and not having a shot at going and getting one of those top guys.
There's nothing mediocre about this team, though. There's people don't want to say this because
the quarterback is going to make this team mediocre.
Because everybody with the Cleveland Browns is just like, the Browns suck. The fact of the matter is, this is a dare I say, this is a deep run into the playoffs roster.
Mike.
I believe that. This roster is a deep run into the playoffs roster, and their quarterback stinks. Yeah. So my thing, though, is like, who's the next Sam Darnold? Just go next year, get Deshaun Watson the hell out of here, and let's go find that next. Maybe Shedeur Sanders has got to go next year. That's fine. Who's the next Sam Darnold? Who's the next?
Why Sam Darnold?
Because you just watched the Seattle Seahawks win a Super Bowl with him
After what, 10 years, 7 years being in the league?
Yes. This roster is good enough to make a deep playoff run with a guy that would rank 15 to 20 in the league in overall quarterbacking.
You're asking for a one-off, Mike. So that's all you're doing is asking for a one-off when you do that. Because Sam Darnold,
I'm asking for a different. There's a lot of approaches to do this, Chad. No, it's not just Sam Darnold. We've watched other teams do it. We've watched other teams do this.
Like who?
The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
Oh my God.
And Carson Wentz.
So you are okay. I get it. So
yes, I'm saying
this is peak desperation, Brown.
No,
because you're asking for a one-off. You don't want your franchise quarterback for the next 10, 15 years. You want a one-off with this roster so you can win the Super Bowl. Hey, listen, I get it. I will take that too. I would take a Super Bowl. Hell, I'm begging for the people who say the NFL is rigged. I'm begging for the NFL to rig a Super Bowl for the Browns too. I would take it. I would take a one-off. But Chad, that's a weird thinking to me that you're asking for a one-off.
Exactly what I'm asking for. I don't give a shit if it's a one-off. I don't care. Do you think Seattle cares that Sam Darnold is a one-off?
No.
Does Philly all of a sudden hate Nick Foles? No.
Philly's really the only place Nick Foles ever played well.
They might because it's Philly. But here's the other thing. You can say this all you want, but you can also go into purgatory with Dak Prescott. You can go into purgatory with Jalen Hurts, even though they won a Super Bowl. But you can go into purgatory with good quarterbacks.
Okay.
Listen, here's the thing.
But with those quarterbacks that you just mentioned, I'm still winning 9, 10, 11 games every year.
I now have so little faith that they're going to find the right guy in the draft. This isn't even people will be like, it's an Andrew Berry thing. It's not an Andrew Berry thing for me. You guys know, this, Chad. I am an Andrew Berry guy. I think it's bigger than Andrew Berry. I think it's bigger. There is a cloud over this franchise that they could have the number 1 overall pick this year, and it's going to be an indecisive choice, and it's going to be a guy that is, again, it's what we're seeing. You'll have to pardon me for taking a little pride in not pride, but not joy either. I don't dislike Baker Mayfield, but you'll have to pardon me for we're seeing Baker Mayfield go through the same goddamn thing in Tampa that he went through here. He's good, but is he that good? I don't want another guy like that. Go find the one-off guy and then give yourself more shots.
But you're asking Mike, you're asking to find a needle in a haystack. And I think that's such a dangerous way.
A quarterback in the draft has been a needle in a haystack for this team.
But Mike, you have to keep taking shots in the draft. It's different. There's a huge difference between a needle in a haystack in the draft that you're looking at to be your long-term solution, as opposed to a guy who's, for the most part of his career, been dog shit and hoping that he's able to come around. You're able to coach him up and come around and have him come around and turn his career around and win a Super Bowl.
I don't know what the difference is. One, you're not just going to bring in a guy that sucks. Sam Darnold showed plenty of promise in his time with Minnesota. He showed he was coming around. Seattle was like, all right, we're going to go get this guy and see what happens. And look what happened. And again, I don't know who it could be. Mac Jones next year. It could be another. Again, there's going to be guys available. I don't want to go into another season hoping for a 2 or 3 win year where we're going to sit here and act like Arch Manning is just the next. I've watched Arch Manning play football. And unless he takes a major leap this year.
He took a major leap the second half of last year.
Kind of.
Yes,
he didn't scare. He didn't. At no point was I like, oh, that's
because Texas was 9-3 at that point, and you didn't pay any more attention to him.
Me, I didn't pay any attention to Texas. Nope, you're right. Paid no attention.
No,
I watched him play all year.
Mike, the last 5 games of the year, he averaged 350 yards with 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Per game. He took a major leap the second half of last year.
Yeah.
Now,
and maybe he will.
This year?
Maybe he will.
We'll see.
Maybe he will. Maybe he'll take. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not going into this season. I'm done. I'm done going into the season thinking about the goddamn draft next year. I'm done with that shit.
No, except you're going into this year hoping we trade for J.J. McCarthy, and he's going to be that one-off guy.
No, fuck that. I'm going into this season trying to win as many games as I can, and then if I got to figure out a quarterback, then I'm going to figure it out next year. That is what I'm going into the season with. I'm not this strategy of lose as many games and tank. It doesn't work. We're acting like we're already acting like it's working for the Raiders. We don't know that Fernando Mendoza's. I hope he's good. I don't know if he's going to be any good. I'm tired of that. We acting like we just have another season to waste. Like at some point, there has to be a little urgency. Win as many games as you can this year, and then figure out your quarterback next year. And if that means you got to trade, and that means you got to Ditka your draft and trade your whole draft to come up and get Dante Moore because you think he's the guy, go for it. But like, I can't do this. Like, well, here goes another year of Denzel Ward. Here goes another year of Grant Delpit. Hey, let's really show other guys, Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, and Emmanuel McNeil Warren and Spencer Fano, what it's like to lose. Let's really dive into that. Yeah. Build a goddamn culture here of winning, and then go. Your quarterback could be found in the draft. It could be found in free agency. It could be found via trade. I don't give a shit about any of that. I don't care where you find the next guy, but like this acting like let's tank this season and go get a quarterback next year. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
You are going to waste another year at Denzel Ward and Grant Delpit because the quarterback this year is not going to be good.
It doesn't. Yeah, maybe. I agree. Listen. I think it's. I hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate this, Chad.
I don't like it either, Mike, and that's why I choose empathy when it comes to the Browns. No, apathy. Not empathy. Apathy.
Nope, there's no empathy involved.
Nope, no empathy, but apathy. It's why I choose apathy when it comes to the Browns.
Now, having said all this, I didn't want to even spend that much time on the quarterbacks, but having said all this, other interesting things to talk about. Apparently in camp, the most interesting battle that has developed is Jared Verse versus Spencer Fano.
Which has been amazing.
And those two guys we just talked about the biggest reason to not be excited about the Cleveland Browns. This is one of 2 reasons to be very excited about the Cleveland Browns. One, this Verse Fano, the fact that they're getting into it after plays and they're like rolling around fighting and all that. Let's go. I love that Spencer Fano is holding his own, standing his ground, not taking shit just because he's a rookie. But I also love that Jared Verse has I hate to say this because it's a Baker Mayfield thing and I hate it with him, but like a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Like,
I don't know that it's a chip. I just think it's a natural dog in him. I don't know that it's a chip. I just think he has that quality. And Mike, you're not going to like. I don't know that you're going to like this. Well, you probably aren't.
Not. I can already tell you I'm not.
Huh?
I can already tell you I'm not going to like this.
But it's battles like that in camp. Like it's someone like that, like what Jared Verse is doing, is going to change the culture with this Browns team, and that's something that's just a quality that Miles never brought. He's going to when it's battles like that, when it's 2 guys in camp like that, fighting it out, practice after practice after practice. That's what's going to make this team better. That's what's going to make this team better. And I love watching the chippiness in practice. I love it.
This need to do this Jared Verse versus Myles Garrett thing is just obnoxious.
No, it's
Miles every year, Chad. God damn it! I didn't even want to do this.
Just pointing out a difference, Mike.
It's not a difference. It's not a difference. It happened with Myles Garrett. Every year there were videos posted to the Browns account. I will go back and find them because I'm so goddamn tired of this. Every year there were videos. Myles Garrett would be mic'd up in practice, and there he would be with Jed Wills trying to teach him like his moves and how to deal with that, and try to teach Isaiah McGuire and Alex Wright. They'd be mic'd up and like, no, you do this. I'm going to teach you this. And now for some reason, I don't know why, for some reason, all these Browns fans have to act like, well, Myles never did this. Myles never did what Jared Verse is doing. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did all of this. Is he as vocal of a guy? No. But listen, I'm sorry. I'm rooting for Jared Verse. I love Jared Verse. I do not have unrealistic expectations of Jared Verse. And so when Jared Verse goes out there and has 8 sacks this year, which is fine, miss me with this bullshit. Myles Garrett had 23 sacks last year. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't either. I don't have unrealistic expectations of Jared Verse either. But I like what he's bringing to this football team. And I like the fact that Spencer Fano is getting kind of his welcome to the league moment early, right? I think he realizes the intensity he needs to bring at the left tackle position. And I like the fact that he is celebrating every time Jared Verse fucks up.
You know what I don't like? You know what I don't like about this, Chad? We are giving the credit should be going to and again, this is not a Jared Verse conversation. Myles Garrett versus Jared Verse does not exist. This is not about Jared Verse. I like Jared Verse. I'm excited for him. I think it's a great get for the Browns. But we're taking credit by having this kind of conversation. We're taking credit away. We're talking about that dog in Jared Verse. The dog is within Spencer Fano. We should be giving credit. It's not about him getting a lesson. It's about him giving a lesson. It's about him going out there and showing, like, I was the 9th overall pick in the draft. I'm ready to go. I'm the franchise left tackle for years to come. And we're giving all the credit to Jared Verse because Chad, we are so desperate to be like, well, this is why Jared Verse could be better than Myles Garrett for the Browns. That's what this is.
I think it's very reasonable to think that Jared Verse brought that out in Spencer Fano, because the one thing about Spencer Fano coming out of college was that he didn't have this quality in him.
No, nonsense.
And he's bringing it out.
Whoever said that? Whoever said that?
You could see LaCharles Bentley. You just go to LaCharles Bentley, one of the best offensive lineman coaches you've ever watched. Or you've ever seen, watched, heard, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Whoever Spencer Fano was like a sad little puppy coming out of college.
Not a sad little puppy. It just wasn't, the intensity consistently wasn't there.
This is all coming from the need to justify the trade, Myles Garrett, Jared Verse, and all the other stuff. Where it's coming from. Yes, it is.
No, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. Mike, yes, Myles had 23 sacks, and I know you're going to have your A&M blinders on for this for the rest of your life.
A&M blinders, he's the NFL sack
for the rest of your life, because you don't want to think that someone's going to bring a different quality to this team than what Myles did. You don't want to think that.
The NFL players and coaches voted Myles Garrett the best player overall in the NFL. We're sitting here acting.
Sure.
Myles Garrett is LeBron James. Period.
Okay.
And again, I don't want to do this. It's not about Myles Garrett.
Then change topics, Mike.
It's not about Myles Garrett. It is just this need to be like, well, Myles didn't do that. Every time I'm listening to people talk about the Browns, it's like, well, look what Jared Verse did that Myles didn't do. Look what Jared Verse did that Myles didn't do.
I don't do this. I don't do that all the time. I'll be honest with you. I don't do that all the time.
It's nonsense. Nonsense. It's all nonsense. And it takes credit away from Spencer Fano, which should not happen. And frankly, again, people don't even realize they're doing it, but it just continues to heap the bullshit onto Jared Verse that he doesn't need to deal with. I'm good. Jared Verse can have 10, 11, 12 sacks this year, which he kind of needs to do. But he can do that. 10, 11, 12 sacks, sweet. I think he could even be better than that in this defense. Sure. I think Jared Verse could be a 14, 15 sack guy.
Sure.
Awesome. Love it. We have to stop with this. Jared Verse isn't the reason that Spencer Fano is competitive. That is such horseshit, and it's a coping mechanism for the fact that Myles Garrett is gone. It's coping.
I disagree. I think they bring it out for in each other.
Okay. The other fun thing, let's talk about an actual fun thing that you and I won't disagree on. Chad, the other fun thing is that the Cleveland Browns have wide receivers, and they have depth. They have them for days.
Sure.
Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion have been stars.
Yeah, they absolutely
stars for the Cleveland Browns throughout their camp. And it has pushed Jerry Jeudy. Isaiah Bond has shown a ton in camp. And there are 4 Browns wide receivers, and we'll see who else, makes themselves worthy. But there are 4 Cleveland Browns wide receivers that other teams are going to have to absolutely worry about, Chad.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if the quarterback can get him the ball.
That's fine. Come on. God, I was ready.
No. For the first time in I don't know how many years, they actually do have talent at the position. They have depth. I'm really excited. I especially love what Concepcion and Boston are doing in camp. I mean, Boston, the big-bodied guy, you could tell he's physical. He plays bully ball in his route running. Right, he's a guy that just has strong hands. He's going to go get the football.
Yes.
And Concepcion, I mean, if you're still worried about the drops, you don't have to. You don't have to, because this guy is electric. Anytime he touches the football, he's catching everything that's coming his way. Yes, I'm really excited about those two.
It's driving me crazy though, Chad. And I said this on Twitter, and it just our friend Cameron Justice, who we will have on soon to do the Browns scheduled game. But she posted videos. I think it was Dylan Gabriel. But every time I'm seeing video highlights online of Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, Isaiah Bond, Jerry Jeudy, whatever, they're like going across the middle and having to they're running this way and having to reach back and make a spectacular catch, or they're having they have their guy beat by 3 steps, but they have to come back and catch the ball over them. And these quarterbacks suck. I posted online. I'm like, can we please one time, can we just get a video package of quarterbacks throwing the ball on time and leading their wide receivers? And it never happens. Yeah. Never.
Nope.
But I am excited to watch these wide receivers, Chad.
Sure.
And then you throw in Harold Fannin, you throw in healthy Quinshot Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Rocket Sanders. It's the most. I don't remember the last time we had this many weapons.
I know, really. I don't remember the last time we had this many weapons that are going to get short hopped on 5-yard outs.
I know. Yeah, here comes Deshaun. All right. Chad.
Yeah.
I don't think we have time to get into the college football preview.
Okay, that's fine.
We're going to do it though before college football starts. I want to do the preview because I want to really go conference by conference. So we'll do a whole thing. We'll get a guest on to do that.
Sure.
I do want to go to my other idea before we get out of here though.
Okay.
And we've talked about college football a little bit, and you've heard about the SEC trying to break free, and we've seen the conferences realigning and all that stuff. Obviously, college basketball dealing with very similar situations. We've talked about baseball dealing with salary and salary cap and CBA and all that. And we got the NBA, the NHL, the NFL. They all deal with their own issues. So I want to go league by league. I want to do 6 of them, Chad.
Okay.
I want you and I to come up with the 6 things, one for each sport, that the league or whatever can do to just fix the sport. The biggest impact thing to fix the sport.
Sure. Okay.
So let's start with college. Let's go to college football.
Okay.
So in your head, if I was what's the biggest impact thing that could happen in college football that fixes the sport of college football, what would you say?
Well, I think the biggest thing that can fix college football is if these guys want to get paid like NFL players, I think they should get treated like NFL players. I think there's some CBA needs to be formed with salary caps. I think it needs to, players can get released from their contracts if they don't perform well. I think, if you want to get treated like NFL players, I think you've got to form some sort of iteration of NFL rules and NFL standards and NFL contracts. I think that's the biggest thing that can fix college football. Even add in some rules about how you can transfer and fixing the portal. And, I think that all of that needs to come together in some sort of CBA. And I think that can definitely fix college football and bring the competitive balance a little bit. Not here, but like here.
Yeah, right.
Like here.
I agree with everything you said, and I think a CBA would be beneficial to college football. But I also think that there are things where you should, and I love this idea, and it's not my own idea. There are things like we talked about the transfer portal and all that stuff. I think there's things where coaches should be held to the same standard as players in college football.
Sure.
Because that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But also, we're now at the point where there's no such thing as regional conferences anymore. Everything's national, and that's fine. People act like it's weird, but like back in the day, they were taking bus rides to Iowa. It's a faster plane ride to USC than it is a bus ride to Iowa. Like it's fine. It's no big deal. I think they need to. The conferences need to go all together, and they need to just. I've said this for years on the show. They need to go into I call it the English Premier League structure of college football, where like the top 30 teams are in the top league and they're fighting for a national championship. Then the next 30 teams are in the next league. And at the end of the year, the top 4 teams move up, the bottom 4 teams move down, and you're just shifting all the way through. I think a system like that helps college football because, again, the thing that drives me nuts about college football is that you just have – it's like 80% of the teams are playing for no reason. They're playing for like the Motor City Bowl. Like it doesn't matter.
Right.
And I'd rather have, like if I was in the 3rd tier and I win that tier, that's a championship. Like we get to celebrate that.
Right.
We won that tier. We were the best of the 30 teams in our tier.
Yeah.
So now every team is actually competing for something. They got to do something like that.
Like the Sun Belt, the Mountain West, and the MAC can all just go at it for a name.
That's fine, and that's fine. Like I'm a Bowling Green guy, right? Like I know I went to A&M, but I went to Bowling Green too. I don't give a shit if Bowling Green's in the lowest tier. If they win that tier, we're celebrating. That's like a national championship. We're celebrating that. And then they go up to the next tier, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And I think that affects recruiting. I think you've got right now, you've got big conference teams that are having this recruiting advantage for no fucking reason.
Right.
They do nothing with it. So you could have some lower teams that come up that are better at recruiting and better at that can make more use of it. I think this structure would make it happen. So that to me that would be the fix for college football.
For sure.
What about college basketball, Chad?
I don't fucking know.
I'll give you my one thing.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to college. I'm not trying to like cop out anything. I don't pay attention enough to college basketball to really know.
But there's a reason for that. Has it always been that way, Chad?
It's always been that way because the regular season is meaningless.
Yeah, but like I am staunchly anti-regular season college basketball.
Yeah.
But I also remember a time where like college basketball, like even I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
And now the way everything is just geared towards get kids to the NBA. You watch, we've talked about this. The NBA draft is unwatchable.
Right.
It's unwatchable. I don't know who any of these guys are.
Right.
I know like Boozer. I know like the kid from BYU, but like now you got guys coming in from like the G League elite that I don't know who these guys are. And I don't care about the guys from overseas. That's cool. I think that's fine. But like college basketball is like, you're not even getting the best players anymore. It's
right.
I don't know. It's not fun to watch. It's not, it no longer feels like a competition amongst college basketball teams. It just feels like it only exists to funnel guys as quickly as possible.
Sure.
And so the draft happens. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is this guy?
Right.
And it's like, oh, all right. I don't know. The college basketball, like college football to me, even with its flaws, still feels like competition, Everybody's fighting to get to that. They want their conference championship. They want to get to the playoffs. They want to win a national championship. College basketball to me just feels like nobody gives a shit.
It's more the Wild West than college football is.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I don't know how you fix it.
Yeah.
Maybe
you can get help from the NBA, right?
I was going to say maybe the NBA, yes, draft regulations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Get a little stricter.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I hate it. The NBA draft used to be like, I'm watching this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and now I don't give a shit about the NBA draft.
Oh yeah. All
right.
No, me neither.
I'm going to go to your biggest specialty here, Chad. And I know you love it, so I'm gonna require you to take a little bit of a critical eye here. But the NHL, what's the biggest thing that fixes the NHL?
Biggest thing that fixes the NHL. I don't know. I think it's one of those sports that's constantly trying to improve its product.
Yeah.
Right? Because I like what they're doing with the game, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's an elite sport by any means, well, one of the elite sports by any means, but I like that the cap keeps going up every year. I like the way that you're getting everybody involved, like from the women's, that just internationally, like you're growing the game in different countries now. Like there's teams in Kenya and Ghana. I don't know. I honestly can't think of anything that I would fix about the NHL right now, because they're constantly working to fix the game.
All right. Well, that's not helpful.
It's not. I know it's not.
They might be constantly working to fix it, but there's things. There's what's your biggest complaint about the NHL? Stop trying to not answer the question.
Biggest complaint about the NHL. Do I have one? I don't know. Do you? What's yours?
You just think the NHL is a perfect sport?
No, God, no.
It couldn't do anything better. What could it do better, Chad?
It could fix the fucking offside replay, like some of the replays that they could sure
That's
fix
fine.
those.
That's fair.
It's offsides, goaltender interference. It's such a subjective, weirdly not like goaltender interference is like targeting in college football. It's just so there's no clear cut rules to it. It's just such a confusing rule. So that would certainly help. Sure, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I also think if you're asking me an area where I can complain about the NHL, because I love the NHL too, but if you're asking me an area I can complain, it's there's been such a clear and evident willingness by the NHL to get involved in a way that they have shown over the last 10 years that they've got teams that they really want to succeed, and they've got teams they don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
And the Vegas Golden Knights show that year in and year out. And it started with them going to the Stanley Cup Finals year one. They changed the rules so that team would be successful.
But here's the thing with them, though.
They changed the rules so that team would be successful.
Well, sure, Mike. But here's the thing with them, though. They're kind of like the Dodgers in that they're just taking advantage of what the league gave them.
I agree. Hey, listen. Hey, Chad. I didn't ask what the Vegas Golden Knights could do to make you like them more. I asked what the NHL could do to improve. And so you're making my point. The NHL biffed that.
Sure.
And I think there's times where the NHL is blatantly, obviously secretive about stupid things. You're not going to get me. This isn't a Blue Jackets thing. I don't think the Blue Jackets just deserve the number one overall pick when they have bad years. But Yeah, I'm sure in Bedard's year, I'm sure Chicago got the number 1 overall pick. I'm sure like and there's no transparency to it. It's just like, yep, this is what it was. Bye. I think the NHL is a little secretive, and they have a hand in who's going to be successful and who isn't, and that sucks.
I don't know.
I do.
I don't know about that, because you would think that, like, if that's the point you're trying to make, you would think that they would somehow get Connor McDavid a Stanley Cup by now.
No,
like,
I don't think that, because ultimately the guys have to put the pucks in the net, and they have to prevent the other team from putting the pucks in the net. You really think Toronto got the top pick this year? Really? You think that was the?
There's the thing. It's like it's. I don't know. There's arguments.
You can't give a guy a cup.
There's arguments for and against that, but like you say, I mean, it's okay. Like, again, you would think they would want to get Connor McDavid a cup, so why haven't they given him a goaltender? Right? Why haven't they? Florida is doing what they're doing right now. I don't know. I mean, but there's certainly that's a 50-50 thing for me.
I think the NHL has. I think they absolutely have there's an illegitimacy to the way they have their hands on how things go down in the way the NHL. And again, don't take this. The Blue Jackets have biffed really good draft pick after really good draft pick after really good draft pick after really good draft pick. This is not a Blue Jackets thing for me. It's just, oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, Toronto totally got the top pick this year. Oh yeah, Chicago totally got the top pick that year. Bedard was coming out. No, they didn't. No,
I can agree with that. That, like, there's markets that they want to see be successful for sure.
And they're obvious about it. All right, the NBA. Chad, you don't really like the NBA, so what would you do to fix it?
Dissolve it, make it go away.
You're so dumb.
No. What would I do to fix the NBA? Tanking. I would constantly work on the tanking rules, because it's like you saw instances where I think it was Washington last year. I think they were up by like 10 or 12 in a game, and they purposely gave it up because they wanted to continue to tank. So I think that can be fixed, because, it's from a fan standpoint, if I know my team isn't even trying to win games, is actively trying to lose games like that, that pisses me off, is the tanking aspect of the NBA.
Yeah, I think there should be, in the NBA, I think they should get really creative and it's like what we do in our fantasy league. Like, if you're not a good team, that's fine. But if you're like the best of the not good teams, you're going to get a perk.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, try to encourage everybody. Like that's what we do in our fantasy league. It's like the top 6 teams make the playoffs, but if you're the 7th team, you get to pick your draft slot next year.
Right.
So, like, it's encouraging, and that keeps the next, 4 teams in it.
Right.
So you don't have as many teams that are trying to tank. I think that's a good point. I also think it's the same thing I said about the NHL. Totally, Dallas won the draft lottery the year after they traded Luka, and they get Cooper Flag. Like, it's so transparently biased and rigged.
Right.
And I'm not saying, again, the outcomes of games aren't rigged, because you cannot rig a ball going through a hoop. You cannot rig a shot going into a net. It's as much as people want to be like, yes, you can. No, you can't. But, like,
I would say all the leagues too that could be rigged. The NBA is the easiest one.
Oh, I think you're probably right, but I don't think it is at all. I think the NBA product wise is great. They're in a great spot. They are, people act like it's not doing great, but it is selling out arenas everywhere, and it's wildly popular. And I think the NBA at this point is probably culturally the biggest impactor in the United States. Sure. It is, the NBA culturally is very highly ingrained in our sports culture more than any other sport. And I think that's a credit to them. But like this draft lottery, man, it's outrageous, stupid. Gotta go. That does not fix tanking. Like the NBA and the NHL both show you draft lottery does not fix tanking at all. At all. All right, two more. I'm going to save the easy one for last. The NFL. What do you do? What do you do to improve the NFL?
What do you do to improve a multi-billion-dollar industry?
Well, it's the same thing as baseball. It's the same thing as basketball. It's the same thing as hockey. They're all multi-billion-dollar industries.
Yeah.
What do you do to improve the NFL, though? If I said, hey, you could do one thing to make the NFL better than what it already is, what would you do?
Give me a minute. You say yours. Give me a minute.
I didn't have one right off the top of my head either. I didn't have one right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Man, the NFL is just...
It's just entertainment. It's just pure entertainment.
It is. It is.
Yeah. I mean...
Like maybe schedule... like for me, maybe it'd be like scheduling things.
Yeah, stop scheduling international games so I don't have to...
Yeah, knock that shit off. But also take advantage of the primetime slots you're given.
Yeah.
Stop making the Thursday night game the worst game on the calendar. Like it's outrageous.
Right.
But man, the NFL is just...
It's not perfect, but there's like minor things. There isn't like one major thing about that.
Yeah, we could be talking about rules.
Sure, like rules, but there's not one major thing about the NFL that needs to be fixed.
No, I don't think so. All right, and then baseball and Major League Baseball, and we know what it is.
Salary cap
has to happen.
Yeah,
has to happen. I don't care that there is solid number of teams fighting for playoff spots.
Right.
In the end, you have to be a top payroll team to win a World Series, and that sucks.
Yeah.
And again, it isn't even about it. We dove into this last week too, Chad. We did the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Salary cap and the lack thereof affects the trade deadline. Like teams like the Guardians or the Pirates or the Rays or whatever, they can't really go all in at the trade deadline because of salary implications on the back end of that.
Yeah.
So even teams that should be like the Rays should go all in at the deadline, and they made like a minor move with the Marlins, and that was it.
Yeah.
The salary cap has to happen. I know players are going to say no, but I think they're brainwashed, and I don't mean that about Travis Hafner, but again, I think they're just brainwashed to say it because the reality is, again, we've talked about this on the show. Most players in Major League Baseball would make more money with a salary cap and a salary floor than they're doing right now.
Yeah.
And the overall average salary would go up if they implement it. It just has to. I'm so tired of rooting for a team where you go, like, it's Chase DeLauter now. How long are we going to get to root for Chase DeLauter?
Yeah. Yep.
I want to root for Chase DeLauter for as long as he wants to be here.
Yep.
And the fact in every other sport, guys choose to go elsewhere for a lot of reasons, but it's not money. Like, look at Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett could make as much money here as he could make anywhere, but he wanted to go somewhere else, and that is what it is.
Yeah.
Look at basketball. Guys choose to go somewhere else, even though they could make more money in their current place. They choose to go. I want that situation. I'm so tired of just. Well, the Cleveland Guardians offered me $17 million a year, and the Los Angeles, I won't even say the Dodgers, the Angels, the Cubs, whatever, offered me $30 million a year.
There you go.
Can't happen. It has to happen, Chad. It has to happen. All right. Well, that's how we'd fix sports. You tell us how you'd fix sports, and we'll catch up on that. Chad, before we get out of here with this episode, we got to do our cheers of the week. And so I'll go first on this one. I've got two. One, I've got to get a cheers out to the Foo Fathers. Did you see this story, Chad?
Nope.
So Monday this week, the Foo Fighters had a concert at Huntington Bank Field, Brown Stadium. And it was just an awesome story. Dave Grohl comes out and he goes, I'm laying in bed in my underwear this morning. And on one of the news channels, there's a Foo Fighters tribute band called the Foo Fathers. And they're just like a bunch of middle-aged dudes, which is what the Foo Fighters are. But the Foo Fathers are the tribute band, and the news channel has them on. And Dave Grohl's like, it was a really weird morning for me because I'm laying there in my underwear in bed in my hotel room, and I'm watching the Foo Fathers perform times like these on the news, and it was awesome. And at the concert, these dudes in this tribute band, the Foo Fathers, stand up, and Dave Grohl spots them in the crowd. And it's just a really cool moment of like him acknowledging them and like thanking them for like, paying tribute to his band. And it was really cool. It was a cool moment. So Foo Fathers get a cheer for me. And then the other one, Chad, are you still there? I need you to come back for this. Oh, he might have run to the hotel pisser. But I need Chad for this. I'm going to wait because I need him to hear this one. So we're waiting on it. Chad, just emptying it out. This is terrible podcasting, by the way, but we know. We know if you're still here at the end, we love you anyways. All right, Chad, you good? You empty?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Chad, did you hear this story about the high school football player in Arkansas?
Oh, yeah, sure did.
How about, I think my cheer, I don't know whether I give my cheer to the football player or to the copperhead snake that was hiding in his helmet for an hour during a practice.
Right.
This kid puts on his helmet and he goes and practices for a full hour.
Yeah.
And he finally goes to somebody with the team and goes, something is like moving in my helmet. It's really weird. And they take his helmet off and they look inside of it. And there's a 2-foot-long copperhead snake. A copperhead is a pit viper. 2-foot-long. It's the deadliest snake in America.
Right.
There's a copperhead snake in his helmet. Yeah. And that snake just said, I'm not worried about it.
Just gonna chill.
I'm hanging in the studio. I'm getting CTE with this kid.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about this. And the copperhead was they said the copperhead was, after an hour of this kid playing football, it never bit him. It was so reluctant to leave the helmet that it took him another hour to like, they were like spraying water on it and stuff just to get it out of the helmet.
Yeah.
So that, you know what? You talked about Jared Verse having that dog in him. That copperhead has that dog in him.
Nice.
He was ready to go for that Arkansas football team.
For sure. All right, my cheers just goes to the crew, the Columbus Crew. Went to my first ever pro soccer match tonight, and it was a great time. This great stadium, great atmosphere, super clean, right? Like very clean everywhere. The bathrooms on down, everywhere was like awesome. I love going to my first soccer match.
Love it. All right, first I've never been to an MLS game, so that's a lot of fun. Good stuff, Chad. Killing it down there in Columbus. Listen, man, that's going to do it for us. It's been great. Last order of business for us is just to give out our thank yous, and then we're getting out of here. First thank you goes out to the OBR for hosting us. The Orange and Brown Report is the best place in Cleveland to get your Browns coverage, so get over to the OBR.com and make sure you hit subscribe. Next cheers goes to our special guest tonight, Travis Hafner. What a dude. What a dude. Pronk. Hitting bombs and hanging out with us on Garage Beers. Big shout out to Travis Hafner. Really good insight. Plus just fun catching up with him on his son, his kids, and just life in Pronkville. We appreciate Travis Hafner for joining us to talk baseball. Last cheers goes out to all of you, everybody that joined us here on the live broadcast, or if you didn't and you're watching us later on YouTube or Twitch, or if you're catching us wherever you get your podcasts, we appreciate you. We love you. And we thank you for tuning in. That's going to do it for episode 325 of the Garage Beers podcast. We will see you next week. Well, no, we won't. I don't think we will. We'll let you know. Next week is up in the air. 326 might happen in 2 weeks, but we'll make an announcement on that. In the meantime, though, that's going to do it for us for tonight. Joey that wasn't here, but go follow him anyways at Garage Beers Joe. For Chad Meyer down in Columbus at Garage Beers Chad. I am Michael Keefe at Garage Beers Mike. Go follow the show at The Garage Beers on all the socials. And until next episode, as always, cheers, everybody.